history never told you this. Roman soldiers were sometimes more afraid of turning their backs than facing the enemy itself. In battle, a single man running away could destroy an entire army within minutes. One gap in the line was enough to unleash panic, collapse formations, and turn disciplined soldiers into easy targets. That is why Roman commanders treated retreat not as weakness, but as a deadly threat to Rome itself. For the Roman army, retreat was not simply seen as a military failure. It was viewed as a direct threat to the survival of the entire formation. Roman warfare depended on discipline, unity, and absolute obedience. Every soldier was expected to hold his position, regardless of fear, exhaustion, or danger. The strength of Rome did not come from individual warriors fighting independently. It came from tightly organized ranks of men moving and fighting together as a single machine. Roman battle formations relied heavily on order. Shields locked side by side, soldiers advanced in formation, and each man protected the soldier next to him. If one section broke apart or fled, the entire line could collapse within moments. A retreat by a few soldiers could quickly spread panic through the army. Once fear moved across the ranks, discipline disappeared, formations opened, and enemies could exploit the chaos. Roman commanders understood that armies were often destroyed not during combat itself, but during uncontrolled retreats. A soldier running away exposed the backs of his comrades, weakened the defensive wall of shields, and encouraged others to abandon their positions. To Roman leaders, retreat was contagious. One frightened soldier could cause hundreds more to lose confidence. This fear of disorder shaped Roman military culture for centuries. Roman soldiers were trained from the beginning to value obedience above personal survival. Drills were harsh, punishments were severe, and discipline was constant, even far from battle. Soldiers marched long distances carrying heavy equipment, built camps at the end of exhausting days, and repeated combat exercises endlessly. The purpose was not only to improve fighting skill, but to condition men to obey commands automatically under pressure. Roman officers believed discipline could overcome fear. During battle, soldiers were expected to trust the formation rather than their individual instincts. A Roman legionary knew that staying in line increased his chance of survival more than fleeing. As long as the formation held together, the army remained dangerous. Once the line broke, death often followed. Roman enemies frequently attacked retreating soldiers from behind, turning withdrawals into massacres. Because of this, Roman commanders preferred controlled resistance over panic-driven escape. In many battles, Roman soldiers were ordered to stand their ground even when heavily outnumbered. Courage was praised, but discipline was valued even more. A soldier who remained in formation under pressure was considered more valuable than a reckless warrior seeking glory. Rome's military success depended on reliability. Commanders needed soldiers who would continue fighting despite fear, confusion, or casualties around them. Punishments for retreating without orders could be brutal. Soldiers who abandoned positions, threw away weapons, or fled battle might be beaten, executed, or publicly humiliated. One of the harshest punishments was decimation, where groups accused of cowardice were divided, and 1 out of every 10 men was killed by his own comrades. Though rare, the punishment became infamous because it demonstrated how seriously Rome viewed military disobedience. Fear of punishment reinforced loyalty to the formation. Roman commanders believed strict discipline prevented larger disasters later. A small act of cowardice, if ignored, could spread weakness through the ranks. Officers were expected to enforce authority at all times. Centurions, the backbone of the Roman army, often stood near the front lines, carrying staffs used not only as symbols of rank, but also to strike soldiers who broke formation or hesitated. Leadership in the Roman army was built on maintaining order under extreme pressure. Retreat itself was not always forbidden in a technical sense. Roman armies could withdraw when commanded strategically by experienced generals. However, unauthorized retreat during combat was considered disgraceful because it endangered everyone else. Roman warfare depended on coordinated movement. If a withdrawal became necessary, it had to happen under strict control. Commanders organized defensive lines, protected flanks, and maintained discipline during movement. An uncontrolled retreat was something entirely different. It meant the collapse of command. Rome's enemies often relied on sudden fear and confusion to break opposing armies. Tribal warriors, cavalry forces, and ambush tactics could terrify less organized troops. The Romans responded by creating a military system designed to resist panic. Their soldiers were trained to remain steady, even in terrifying situations. Loud battle cries, charging enemies, and heavy casualties were expected realities of war. Roman discipline aimed to keep soldiers functioning despite those conditions. The Roman army also understood the psychological importance of confidence. Soldiers fought more effectively when they trusted the men beside them would not run away. Stability inside the ranks created strength. If soldiers believed retreat was acceptable, whenever danger increased, trust inside the formation weakened. Roman commanders therefore promoted an identity built around endurance and collective duty. A legionary was expected to hold the line for Rome, for his unit, and for the soldiers standing beside him. Honor within the army was deeply connected to reliability under pressure. Veterans earned respect not only through victories, but through discipline and steadiness during difficult battles. Roman military culture praised endurance, resilience, and obedience because these qualities preserved the army during moments when fear threatened to destroy it. Many Roman victories came not from superior numbers, but from maintaining order longer than their opponents. Enemy forces sometimes fought fiercely at the beginning of battle, but lost cohesion over time. Roman formations, by contrast, were designed to absorb pressure and continue functioning. The ability to maintain discipline while exhausted, wounded, or frightened became one of Rome's greatest military advantages. Roman soldiers also carried the reputation of Rome itself. The empire depended heavily on military strength to maintain authority across vast territories. A disciplined army projected power far beyond the battlefield. If Roman troops became known for fleeing easily, enemies in rebellious provinces would lose fear of Roman retaliation. Military discipline therefore protected both battlefield effectiveness and imperial authority. Roman commanders understood that fear could never be removed completely from war. Even experienced soldiers feared death, pain, and defeat. The goal was not to eliminate fear, but to control it. Strict training, harsh punishments, strong leadership, and group loyalty were all methods used to keep fear from spreading through the army. Roman warfare was built around collective endurance rather than individual heroism. Soldiers survived by trusting the system, holding formation, and obeying commands even in terrifying conditions. Throughout Roman history, there were battles where discipline failed and armies collapsed in panic. These defeats reinforced Roman beliefs about the dangers of retreat. Commanders studied such disasters carefully and often responded by increasing discipline even further. Every breakdown of order became a lesson about the importance of maintaining control during combat. Over time, this created one of the most disciplined military cultures of the ancient world. Roman soldiers were forbidden to retreat because the Roman army believed survival depended on unity. A retreat by one man endangered everyone beside him. Panic could destroy formations faster than enemy weapons. Discipline held the army together when fear threatened to tear it apart. Rome built its military power not only on weapons and tactics, but on the belief that soldiers must stand firm together, even in the face of overwhelming danger.